After multiple days of extreme winds, parts of Colorado finally saw some relief today. Thanks for joining us. I'm Jennifer Meckles. While strong winds were still felt along parts of the Front Range today, the occasional 50, 30-ish mile per hour gusts, very different compared to earlier this week. Let's take a quick live look outside outside our studios tonight. Flags yesterday blowing at full speed, today quite a bit calmer. A little bit different story though in the mountains. Well, we finally got to see a little snowfall today. Let's start with Corey Reppenhagen tonight, just to give us a walkthrough of what is the forecast today? How is it so different? And what are we looking at for the rest of the weekend? Yeah, big difference. You know, those 60+ mile per hour wind gusts, we probably won't see those for maybe past Christmas here along the Front Range and Front Range foothills. They've been sticking to the mountains. Again, you look at maybe the Broncos flag moving around a little bit, but we have the peak wind gusts in town in the metro area today, 30 to 40. So not too bad. Peak wind gusts overall still had some 70s on the board, but that's nothing compared to what we've had lately. And notice that they're all up in the higher terrain. So everything below 60 miles per hour was what we saw down here on the Front Range foothills and the base of the foothills. It's this storm system has kind of arrived here, and that's actually shut down the winds. The winds were out in front of it, and we've seen snow all day long up in the mountains, and that will continue. Winter weather advisory goes till about midnight. Here's your next 3 days. We'll stay warm and breezy for tomorrow, lots of sunshine, and we could be breaking a record temperature here on Monday, and most likely we will, into the 70s. We've had a bunch of 60s, and now we'll throw some 70s on the board. We'll be in the 60s on Tuesday with more record-breaking heat likely coming by Christmas. So Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, all with the potential to break some records. So I'll break down the heat, how we're going to say goodbye to those winds and the mountain snow, all coming up in the full forecast. Jenny? All right, Corey, thank you. Even with the winds starting to ease up, we still have thousands of Coloradans without power tonight. Some of this is the public safety shutoffs that Xcel did ahead of the wind. Some of it is just regular old wind damage and power outages. Here's a look at the power outage map at this hour, 5 o'clock on Saturday. About 30,000 people still without power tonight. The number of impacted customers continues to drop, but some still haven't had power since Wednesday when Xcel first issued a safety shutoff. The company put through another safety shutoff on Friday for customers across several different counties, including Jefferson, Boulder, and Clear Creek. At its height, more than 200,000 people didn't have power on Wednesday night. Earlier this morning, Xcel gave an update on the power cutoffs, what they're doing to get the power back on, and how they've made some of these safety decisions.
So my point is that we only use this as a tool when the most extreme weather conditions exist, and we don't take lightly doing it, but we are doing this to protect the public. And we have to balance risks. We know that the potential risk for a catastrophic wildfire was extreme and high, and so that has to be our first focus, is keeping the public safe.
Xcel says they're hoping to get most people their power back on by 10 o'clock tonight. We will keep you updated on the power restoration throughout the weekend on air and on 9news.com. You can also download the 9 News app on your TV and watch for free. If you still are living without power, the Red Cross has opened several charging stations. In Black Hawk, Gilpin County schools open all day. In Idaho Springs, the Health and Wellness Center opened at 9 this morning, closed at 4. There are also a few pet-friendly locations, including Carmody Middle School in Lakewood, open all day, as well as the Evergreen Fire Station. Communities are now cleaning up all the secondary effects of the wind and power outages. So in Boulder, that looks like downed trees and power lines, reopening the roads that were closed, and tossing out the food that went bad in the fridge.
Community 3 days in is dealing with still some ongoing power outages and those effects from the damages from the windstorm. So that all entails, damages from downed trees, power lines that were down, which changed, routes that people could take. Those dependent on durable medical equipment experience impacts. Then we also know there's economic impacts and just road closures from the high wind that were shut down throughout the Front Range, not just in Boulder County, but kind of throughout our region of the state.
And these weather concerns all come the same week as the Trump administration announced they plan to break up the National Center for Atmospheric Research, NCAR, in Boulder. Research that challenges President Trump's false claim that climate change is a hoax. Protesters gathered in Boulder today, pushing back against the plans by the feds. They pointed out this week's extreme weather shows why NCAR is so vital.
If you've ever gotten on a plane and been worried about wind shear or sudden downdrafts, it's places like NCAR that have predicted those weather patterns to keep us safe. Or if you're wondering about the next major wind event or fires or floods or the next drought if you're a farmer, it's our climate scientists that have provided that kind of research to help us prepare better and keep us all safe.
Protesters argued it's not just the research that matters, it's also the local economy. NCAR employs about 750 people in Boulder.